A man died suddenly, leaving his family drowning in terrifying debt. Dark footsteps approached their tiny home before sunrise every morning. Two frightened boys hid behind their exhausted mother's trembling worn dress. Cruel creditors threatened taking the boys away as unpaid servants forever. The widow clutched empty jars, praying desperately through endless sleepless nights. Cold wind rattled their broken windows while hunger filled the silence. Tears rolled softly down her tired face. Beside fading candlelight tonight, she remembered her husband faithfully serving God with all his heart. Yet faithful people sometimes face storms too heavy carrying alone. Suddenly, the widow finally ran toward Elisha, God's powerful prophet, for help. Dust swirled behind her sandals crossing crowded streets under blazing afternoon sunlight. Her shaking voice cracked painfully while explaining the family's impossible terrible situation. My husband served God faithfully before death stole him away forever. Suddenly, now creditors demand my sons because I cannot repay our crushing debts. Elisha listened carefully while compassion filled his calm wise eyes completely silently. Then he asked one strange question that changed everything forever afterward instantly. What do you already have inside your small empty house today? The widow looked around sadly, seeing almost nothing valuable remaining anymore there. Only one tiny jar of oil remains, she whispered hopelessly through tears. The little jar looked useless against mountains of terrifying unpaid debt nearby, but heaven often begins miracles with things people almost completely overlook daily. Elisha leaned forward carefully, speaking with strong confidence and peaceful authority calmly. Borrow empty jars from every neighbor living around your crowded village tonight. Do not gather only a few jars for this important miracle. The widow blinked nervously, confused by the strange impossible sounding instructions completely. Still, something inside her heart chose trusting God's word through Elisha faithfully. Her sons raced quickly through narrow streets carrying borrowed empty clay jars everywhere. Doors creaked open while neighbors handed over dusty containers with curious expressions silently. Some neighbors gave tiny jars while others carried huge heavy containers carefully. The growing mountain of empty jars filled every corner inside their home. Moonlight entered softly while silence covered the crowded little room completely that night. Elisha's final instruction echoed strongly inside the widow's worried tired heart repeatedly. Close the door behind your family and begin pouring the oil carefully. The widow stared anxiously at the tiny jar resting between trembling weak fingers. One small jar could never fill hundreds of borrowed empty containers completely, yet faith sometimes means obeying before seeing how miracles actually happen clearly. The widow slowly tipped the tiny jar over the first container carefully. Golden oil streamed smoothly downward like shining liquid flowing from heaven above. The first jar filled completely without the tiny oil jar becoming empty. Her sons gasped loudly while quickly bringing another container beside their mother excitedly. Again the oil poured endlessly, sparkling brightly beneath flickering candlelight throughout midnight hours. Another jar filled completely, then another, and another after that continuously. The widow's fearful breathing slowly changed into shocked joyful laughter filled with wonder. Her sons rushed wildly across the room carrying jars with growing excitement everywhere. Golden oil covered the room with rich sweet fragrance and glowing beauty. Every empty jar became completely full through God's unstoppable overflowing, miraculous power tonight. The tiny jar never failed, never slowed, never completely ran dry once. Oil continued flowing powerfully like an endless river sent from heaven above. The widow's tired eyes widened while tears streamed down her smiling cheeks joyfully. Fear disappeared completely, replaced by overwhelming amazement and grateful thankful worship inside. Finally only one empty jar remained beside the crowded room at dawn. Bring another jar quickly, the widow shouted with hopeful joyful excitement loudly. But her sons searched everywhere and found no empty containers remaining anymore nearby. The moment they answered, the miraculous oil suddenly stopped flowing completely afterward. Silence filled the room while hundreds of full jars surrounded the family peacefully. The widow fell trembling onto her knees, overwhelmed by God's loving miraculous provision. Morning sunlight shined warmly through windows once filled with darkness and hopelessness before. The frightened home now glowed beautifully with peace, laughter, and joyful thankful hearts. The widow hurried back toward Elisha carrying tears of overwhelming gratitude joyfully today. She explained every miraculous moment while her sons smiled proudly beside her happily. Elisha nodded gently, already knowing God's mighty hand provided everything perfectly beforehand completely. Sell the oil and pay every debt threatening your precious family completely. Then live safely with your sons using the remaining money wisely afterward. The widow's broken story transformed completely into a testimony of God's endless faithfulness. The same God who multiplied oil still sees every hidden human struggle today. He notices every tear, every fear, and every impossible situation people face. Sometimes miracles begin with one tiny thing people almost ignore completely every day. Sometimes heaven multiplies whatever faithful hearts place inside God's powerful loving hands. God can turn emptiness into overflowing blessing beyond human understanding or imagination completely. He can provide hope when everything feels lost, dark, and impossible around you. So never underestimate small blessings resting quietly inside your life today already. God specializes beautifully in multiplying little things into incredible miraculous abundance forever. And remember this powerful promise whenever fear surrounds your worried heart completely today. God never abandons those trusting Him through difficult, painful, uncertain seasons faithfully. Those who trust in the Lord will lack no good thing. Psalm 34 verse 10. Thank you for watching this story. If it touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay with us for more powerful and inspiring stories.